Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the Central Vehicle Leasing Challenge. We're here for, this is the Supreme Series. I'm joined by Lee Kendall. Lee, I'm in the draw this morning, thrown up some fantastic games. There were some absolute crackerjacks yesterday, and we're in for some great ones again today.
The matches yesterday were brilliant, and again, like you say, they're brilliant again. First one in the arena, Chris Melling against Jordan Shepherd, so
yeah.
Nice quick one to get the day off.
It could well be. I'm going to talk about all of the stream games, but before I do that, there's a couple others that were of interest. A couple of local lads. Liam White's playing Neil Raybone. How did you see that one?
Well, Liam's put a lot of work in recently, so he is going to be match ready, I would say. You know, a few years out the game, but since the series has been on, he's been playing hard. He's been practicing with Gaz as well, so you know. He's playing the #1 ranked player on the IPA, so that'll be a tough ask for him. Yeah. But you know, he's more than capable.
Yeah, it's the kind of games he needs to start winning if he wants to make those inroads, isn't it?
Yeah, he said to me, you know, I need to go somewhere. I need to prove that all the practice is worth doing rather than just playing in one event. So I think he'll be in more events in the next year, so we'll see more of him. There's
another really interesting draw for me. Carl Boys is playing Gaz Hibbert now. Two absolute contrasts yesterday. Carl Boys came through his game against Ben Kamau 11-0. And of course, Gareth looked like he was cruising. He was 9-2 up against Darren McVicker. Darren came back to 10-9.
Then never got a shot.
Never got another shot and lost 11-10. Do you think that contrast? I mean, Carl would have been at home in bed early night and Gaz a bit later and having to grind it out.
It's a double-edged sword in a way. I think it's nice to get a nice easy game under the belt, but for Gaz Hibbert, he'll be thinking, well, I've been tested. Yeah. I've come through that test, so he's match ready now.
Yeah. So on the TV games, over on table 11, we've got Waddingham against Whelan, Craig Waddingham against Jack Whelan. Two great players there.
Yeah, another good matchup. Throughout the series, you get these matches which people would look forward to in a final and a lot of other events. But
tough one to call. On table 3, Greg Batten against Phil Harrison. They've played before in one of the previous events, and Greg pushed him close. Greg, of course, beat Scott Gillespie yesterday, so he's on a vein of form.
That's what I was going to say. He's got a tough little section, as Greg. He's come to the first hurdle, but now he's got one of the most consistent players ever to play 8 ball.
For sure. On table 4, Liam Dunster against Tom Cousins. Well, what a game that is.
Similar again. Tom has a tough first round match. He's in a tough section of the draw, but again, contrast the styles. Yeah. Liam, you'll have to drag him off the table, and Tom will want to be off with a quick win.
Tom showed some signs of regaining his form yesterday in that match, and he's going to have to do it against Liam.
I heard the interview after what you had with him, and you asked him if he's going to win it. He said, "Yeah," and that's unlike Tom. He normally sits on the fence, so maybe he's confident.
Yeah, it's good to see. And of course, you mentioned it, the absolute blockbuster there, two incredible players. I mean, we talk about contrasts in styles. This one definitely isn't. They're very similar styles. Jordan Shepherd against Chris Melling.
No, it's a perfect matchup for both of them because you're going to see an attacking pool. They're both not the favourites for the tournament, but fan-wise, that's a match they'll want to watch. Two quick players playing fast pool, which is great.
Yeah. Can't wait for that one. And without further ado, let's get it underway. Yeah. You're going to be watching Jordan Shepherd against Chris Melling. Good morning, everyone. And as quick as that, we missed the first frame. Well, you didn't miss the first frame, but I was just prepping, getting ready. The players just got underway a couple of seconds early, but hopefully you didn't miss any of the action. Jordan Shepherd. I'm assuming that was a Chris Melling break, and he broke dry because Jordan is still standing up. Looks like he's preparing himself for the break in the second frame. I only assume that because yeah, he's got his break cue in his hand. So that was a reverse dish, and as quickly as that, Jordan Shepherd's 1-0 up, and that's the kind of class that you're going to see from him. He is on buzzing form at the moment. Probably some of you would be aware that I tend a room with Jordan when we're up here, and he's feeling great about his game at the moment. Of course, off the back of the shootout, and another win at the shootout, and he's just full of confidence and really enjoying the game. He's been practicing a lot, and he's well prepared for this game. He's going to need to find balls off the break, and nothing is dropping from that one. And they are wide open, and it brings Chris Melling to the table. We get our first look at Chris. Again, extremely recognisable. Our referee, you see, is Jay Gregory. Jay's travelled up from Wales. He's a member of the constabulary. He's a policeman down there in Wales. I think from around the Neath area, but I could be entirely wrong there. And you can see a broken man just next to Jordan Shepherd there. That's Craig Marsh. I think they went out for a few beers last night, and he looks a bit worse for wear at the moment. So hopefully he's feeling okay and ready for his game. But, the Welsh contingent in force, supporting his countrymen. So Chris, I wondered if you would try and move that red. Just trying to flick it on the way past and just push it up over the pocket. He just grazed it, and I mean, it's absolutely fine. He's still got options. He could still try and move it, but I don't think he will now. I mean, he also, from where he was, had a great line for the double, and still does. I mean, he's in absolutely perfect shape now for the double. He's going to come back to it, though. Probably leave that ball till last now. Oh, he's got the wrong angle here. That was a little bit careless. I think he just decelerated on the shot, just a fraction. He cued it really quickly, just got down and hit it, and it just felt like he decelerated slightly, and he's just come a little low, and now he's going to have to take his medicine. Much tougher pot now. And Chris will know that he's got his work cut out. We saw Chris in the last event, and there was a few errors from him during that match. He won't be afforded too many errors against Jordan. Well, that one has got away from him. Again, just slightly careless, and that's horrible. He's left nothing, and he's going to have to lay the snooker. But Chris Melling, one of the best players in the world at getting out of these conundrums. Tough, because there's a black and a yellow in the way, but there is a path between them. I think the one cushion escape is on. Side rail, well, he's looking at bending it, so maybe it's not. That bend is horrible. I think it has to be the one cushion. The bend is horrible.
because the yellow just looms large. Don't think he likes the angle for the one cushion escape. But I think that's all he's got. As I say, Chris Melling, one of the best exponents in the world at getting out. And there you go. What a fantastic shot. You saw it all the way. You knew it before he did. Brilliant. And that's the problem. You cannot leave Chris Melling a one cushion escape because it's as good as a ball hanging. And straight away, it's one frame apiece. Tiny, tiny bit careless there from both players actually. A little error from Chris on the shot to middle, and followed up by an error from Jordan on his positional play. And there you see in the foreground, table 5, that's Neil Raybone. He's at the table against Liam White. You can see Liam Dunster just on the table behind. Tom Cousins sat to his left. Gaz Hibbert in the white shirt towards the left-hand side of the screen in action. And just to the right of him, Shane Thompson at the table against Adam Penwell. Phil Harrison just at the top of the screen playing Greg Batten. All the action is underway. All of the tables are in action. So a very good morning to all of you. Good morning to Carl Brown. He's hope you're well, sir. He's looking for a shout out this morning. And we hope you're enjoying the action. Hope everyone's enjoying it. Proper treat. And that is dry break number 3. So both players suffering with the breaks at the moment. Again, nasty table. He's got choices. He's got yellow towards bottom right. He's got a red towards bottom left. So he could take either of those. Pretty sure he's going to go reds. Reds are by far the better set. But both sets do have their problems. You've got this stray red that's nearest us. What's the plan for that? It doesn't actually go. Well, it goes into one pocket. It goes to top left. There's no obvious combination shots for it. So, well, there's like a... It's like one for the collector's album there. A safety shot from Jordan Shepherd. And it wasn't quite as planned. He's just played to double the yellow down on top. Double the red down on top of the yellow and black, just to release the black down table. You could tell that he was disappointed with that shot. And it opens an opportunity for Chris, and he's going to be looking to attack this problem ball at the top of the table. All the best players are going to be looking for the problem area. And this problem area in the top right corner, he's going to try and deal with it early in the frame. So he'll be looking. He doesn't have the angle on the one to left centre to try and get into that area. So just working out the best pattern. He takes his extension. We're on a 45-second clock. The players get one extension per frame. Clever shot, just releasing the black. The black's still gone a little awkward, but it's better than it was. Jordan can just look on at the moment. Hope he gets a chance. maybe. That's a delightful shot. Absolutely delightful touch. Chris looking in great form early doors. This could be one of the classic matches of the Supreme Series. I'm not sure what the plan is for this yellow. I'm fairly certain it doesn't pass. Does it pass the black? Well, it must pass the black. Has to. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left this. Oh, well, for the world on that other camera angle, I would have said this doesn't pass. But there you go. Change the camera angle, and it clearly does. Just this awkward little drop in. That's a very, very well worked clearance from Chris Melling. And Jordan will be ruining his opportunity there. He was at the table. He decided to play safe. Just try and play a little kind of attacking, containing shot almost to try and develop one of his balls and contain Chris. But it didn't come off, and Chris takes the frame. So thank you to all of our sponsors, to Supreme, and also the title sponsor for this event, Central Vehicle Leasing, and also Lee Holdsworth there at PPV Guru. I know that Lee will be watching on. He's good friends with Chris Melling and also sponsors Chris. Hope you're well. Also a shout out to Kate Brown, who's watching today. Hope you're enjoying the action. So another mistake there, in off from Jordan, and against Chris, you can't let him have these opportunities. This could very quickly get away from Jordan. So one problem ball up towards the top right, and I wonder if it does, whether they can play it off of, Chris can play it off of the red. I don't think he can. May just be able to get through, play it off the red that's just adjacent to the top right. This is absolute no man's land. Nothing like what he was looking for, looking to get another 6 inches across the table. So he's going to look at playing this cushion first. And again, I mean, I've already said it, I'll say it again, he's one of the best in the world at playing these kind of shots. And do you fancy him to get this? Yeah, I mean, it was either going to go in or it was going to be the knuckle. You know he's always going to be close. And another half chance here for Jordan. And again, he has to keep himself in touch. can't let Chris go 2-3 frames ahead because it will just be a confidence booster that you can't afford to let him have. So his plan now, he needs a plan for this red near the top left pocket that's covered by the yellow. I think he's looking at it now. He's just looking at the angle that he has. He hasn't got a good angle now, but he's going to try and leave an angle off of this red. Yeah, still not convinced this is ideal. Just the wrong side. He's come up the table just slightly too high. What would it be? Maybe just slightly closer to where the blue spot would be. So he's going to have to find something here. He's going to have to leave an angle on the one to the right hand side. So what he's going to be looking at doing now is dropping the red into top right. A little trace of left side on the ball to bring the cue ball across and try and pot the yellow. Well, as you could see, great effort. It was never a gimme because the yellow was just away from the pocket slightly. A little bit unlucky. That could have come out, but it's double kissed it back in. And now it's just going to be left with a combination shot. And you couldn't have placed that any better by hand to play the combo. Well, maybe just a quarter ball to the right-hand side, but it's not a gimme because the yellow is set just the left-hand side of the bag, but you do fancy him to get it. He is stretching. The trouble is one of those you don't really want to play with a lot of side and transfer the side onto the red, because it's going to make the combo a lot more difficult. But he does need to hold for the black. That's got to run, and it's not, and that's going to be frame away. That's it's going to be a gimme clearance. I mean, it is simply loss of turn. Chris has to play the ball from where it lay, but yeah, you can see he's just ruining that. It's one of those. It was difficult. They were a little bit too close together, and just offset. Couldn't quite get the power into it to get that red moving forwards. That was definitely not a gimme combination shot, but a simple clearance for Chris Melling, and now it's 3 frames to 1. And it's going to be Chris's break in the next. And as I say, look at that. Even that, just... I've seen him do that so many times. I don't expect we even caught that. But when Chris throws the ball down the table, and it just stops right at the end of the table, just dead. Exactly where he wanted it to. I've seen him do it so many times, it's not even a fluke. You try doing that, it's ridiculous. Throws the ball down the table with spin and just stops it pretty much on the black spot. Look at the scores now then. So, Mark Boyle 2-1 up against Darren Collison. Jez Graham 2-1 against John McAllister. Craig Waddingham 3-1 against Jack Whelan. Steve Petty 5-1 against Mason Penny. Liam White 2-1 against Neil Raybone. Greg Batten 2-1 against Phil Harrison. Declan Brennan 1 each against Chris Gill. Shane Thompson 3-0 against Adam Penwell. Gareth Hibbert 1-0 against Carl Boys. Jamie Burnett 5-0 against Jason Tuvey. Sean Chipperfield 4-0 against Sam Bircher. Oli Bell 3-0 against Dave Fernandez. And the couple of scores that we just missed at the bottom of the screen. Liam Dunster and Tom Cousins 1 frame each. Govey Gill has taken the first frame against Jimmy Croxton, and Arfin Dad is 4-0 against Josh Kane. Arfin is on the rampage at the moment. He did the same thing last night against Brian Halcrow. I think Brian was 4 frames to 2 up and ended up losing 11-5. And there's not many players you'd expect to see 4-0 up against a player of Josh Kane's ability. So, very, very soon. Look at this for a break. Huge. And very shortly, you think that it's going to be 4-0. almost certainly from this position. And Chris has he's got his swag about him at the moment. Doesn't look like he's going to miss too much. That yellow just tried to pop back out, rolled around the pocket. Yeah, these are gone. Pretty much as easy as it gets. And, well, will you find two quicker players playing each other when they're swagging? And this was the problem. Now 4-1 behind. And I said Jordan needed to stay on the coattails of Chris Melling, because Chris, once he gets his swag, he can leave you sat in your chair. Gareth Hibbert now 2-0 against Carl Boys. Greg Batten and Phil Harrison locked together at 2 each now. Steve Petty 6-1 against Mason Penny. And Craig Waddingham 4-1 against Jack Whelan. So he finds the ball, he finds some success with his break. And what is a must-make clearance for him. Has to win this one. Get back to 4-2. And even then he's still relying on mistakes from Chris. And Chris is looking sublime at the moment. And just overrun that one fractionally. But won't matter, he can just reroute. Lovely cueing. I mean, what a dream to watch these two players are. An absolute delight. These frames just being reeled off in a matter of seconds. Look at this. I mean, toe to toe this is. Chris Melling break dishes in about 45 seconds, and Jordan tries to beat his record and does it in about 40. I mean, I'm going to have to start timing these clearances, I think. Just sublime. Another big break from Chris. And as I say, for Jordan, all he can do is keep taking his chances and hoping he gets some mistakes. Just keep the pressure on Chris. These 2 frames of daylight at the moment look pretty huge the way these players are playing. Perfect. His cue ball control when he's on it is second to none. Just makes the game look so easy. And it's such a contrast from the player that we saw in the previous event, whose game was just really littered with mistakes. But he's turned up this morning and he means business. Fresh off of a flight from China. He's recently been out there. I think it's a pretty regular venue for him. He's backwards and forwards to China constantly. And again, that 3-frame gap just looks a little daunting. In the foreground, Neil Raybone. I think rubbing his face there. He's going to be pushed by young Liam. It is 2 frames each, but some of you won't know Liam White, but he's like a little pocket rocket. He's a fantastic player with a huge break for someone who's a little smaller. He's got an incredible break. You can see Liam Dunster in the background racking the balls. That match also 2 frames apiece. Steve Petty is now 7-1 against Mason Penny. And here we are back with the action and this break from Jordan under pressure, knowing that he has to keep ticking these frames over. Jez Graham now 3-1 up against John McAllister. Mark Boyle is 3-1 up against Darren Collison. Greg Waddingham 4-2 against Jack Whelan. Steve Petty's won another frame and he's 8-2 against Mason Penny. Greg Batten and Phil Harrison still locked up at 2 each. Deck Brennan and Chris Gill locked together at 2 each. Shane Thompson now 3-2 against Adam Penwell, having been 3-0. Jamie Burnett 6-1 against Jason Tuvey. Sean Chipperfield 6-0 against a very, very adept player in Sam Bircher. Sean on fire. I called it before the weekend started. I said to somebody that there's going to be a new winner this weekend. You mark my words, I reckon there's going to be a new winner. And who put it past Sean Chipperfield? Oh, that may be okay. I think that still drops in the middle. That could have gone horribly wrong there. You feel with Jordan, I mean, he handles this pace very, very well, but you feel sometimes that maybe Chris's cue ball, he just seems to control it so well, playing at speed. I mean, Sheppy does as well. We're talking about fine margins, of course. But So far, Chris has had the cue ball on a string. A couple of times Jordan's had to reroute because he's just run out of position. What a delightful shot. What amazing touch. Wonderful to watch. Just trading blows. Is that 4 break conditions in a row? I think it is. Just going toe to toe, slogging it out like 2 heavyweight boxers. It's like a scene from Rocky IV. So let's take another look at this big break from Chris Melling. Huge, just utterly huge. The black goes in the pocket, but that will simply come back onto the table and be respotted, which, if none of you are aware, that's one of the features of Supreme Rules, is the black ball just gets respotted, which, frankly, I love the rule. I think he'd love to be on yellows here. Either ball set has the merit. You could go for either. They're not neither set particularly difficult, but given that red just towards the left-hand side rail, you would definitely favour yellows. But I'm not sure. Is there an opener? The one maybe to bottom right. I think he can get through to that one, but I think he's just going to take his medicine and go for reds. It's instantly moving that problem ball and just a perfect touch. So again, looking for the problem areas, identified that one ball as being his problem, and dealt with it from the first visit, from the first shot. So good. Jordan just has to console himself with the fact that he's basically 1 break of serve behind. In if we're talking about it from a tennis perspective, he's just that 1 break of serve behind. So he just needs a mistake. But at the moment, Chris just looks like break dishing at absolutely everything. Surely this standard can't keep up. Little kiss that was, it was unintended, or maybe he was looking to kiss the ball, but maybe just a little fuller. So it's left it a bit nasty. It could have been worse. He's still got this ball to top right, but position-wise, it's just tougher. Ten seconds called. Wonderful. Just wonderful vision. just had a little bit of a problem, and you could see him cueing the red onto the yellow to see where that yellow was going to track. And that was delightful. Doesn't want to be straight. If he's straight, he's in trouble. Well, he's got a little angle that he can use, but he's going to have to power this. Yeah, too straight. He can power it. He's got the cue power for sure. He can use side. He's going to hit that side cushion, which is going to accelerate the ball down the table. But he's really got to get that cue ball working. Look at this. No. Really had to get some zip into that, and that was a very, very difficult shot. Going to have to pull one out of the bag here. No. You can see him shaking his head. That's not come off as he expected. And it's ball in hand, and this was the chance that Jordan Shepherd was looking for to get that breaker serve back. Chris with a puzzled look on his face. And left Jordan basically a series of tap-ins. So that mistake just coming from just a slight positional error. I mean, literally that was, we talk about fine margins, that was literally just an inch of pace. If he finished an inch lower, an inch higher, he would have had the angle that he wanted to get down table. Yeah, Chris just saying that he felt that the cue ball was probably skidded off that bottom rail. I mean, there's no way that Chris Melling's missing a ball. He knows his angles better than anybody. And there we go, look at the scores. Liam White 3 each now with Neil Rayburn. Look at that Greg Batten, Phil Harrison game. Are they locked up in a safety battle or something? I mean, that's, that frame's been going on for probably 20 minutes now, I would think. I know that we've probably played about 4 or 5 frames on this table since that one started, but I can look across now and just see it on the laptop, and it is a bit of a safety exchange going between the two players. Sean Chipperfield now 8-0 against Sam Bircher. I wouldn't pick anybody in this field to hold an 8-0 lead against Sam Bircher. He is a fabulous player, but Sean is blowing him away. Look at that scoreline there. Oli Bale against Dave Fernandez. Oli 5-2 up. He had a bye through his early round, so he's got his eyes firmly set on winners qualification. Of course, the winners of this round go into winners qualification, which will be this evening. I think it's at 5 PM this evening. He needs to find a ball here. Otherwise, that breaker serve swiftly going to get back the other way. He needed to, as I say, needed to find a ball and just establish himself back in the game. But he's broken dry again. A rueful look on his face. Wow, what a shot. He's almost been a tiny bit unfortunate. Look at the power and pace he's put into this. Look at the action on that cue ball. The topspin just takes and arcs around. And he's been a little bit unfortunate that the ball's gone in his way, but he still does have a plant. And he makes that easily. Incredible. Another delightful clearance. That one brilliant shot in the middle.
Leading 6 frames to 4. Time running.
10 frames in around about 40 minutes. Some standard. And they say the shark rack slows down the game. Well, again, another dry break. Will this game now be decided by the break? I mean, the balls are opening up so much. So yellows. Yellow at the bottom of the table presents the obvious problem. And I think he's going to be forced to. Well, he's going to go for it now, but no guarantee. Yeah, well, I did wonder whether he was going to take the one down the rail first, because there was no guarantee to be on this yellow, and if you are on the yellow, there's no guarantee that you can get back across for the other one, and the other yellow doesn't double, and the red's in the path to get back across the table to land on it. So suddenly this is not particularly nice. You can see him loading up the side. He's going to come around, yeah, side rail, top rail, trying to get back down the table, and this is a disgusting shot. Truly horrible. One of the nastiest shots you can play. Length of the table, down the rail. No, that would have been some shot had he made it, but that was frame ball. And that lead is now going to be re-established at 3. And 7 frames to 4. Chris Melling closing in. Three frames it is. He needs 4 more for the finishing line. Steve Petty's already won against Mason Penny, 11 frames to 1. Mark Boyle 4-2 up against Darren Collison. Jez Graham 5-2 against John McAllister. Craig Wardingham 7-3 against Jack Whelan. Liam White 4-3 against Neil Raybone. That long frame between Greg and Phil Harrison. Phil won, so it's now 3-2. Declan Brennan, Chris Gill 4 each. Shane Thompson 6-2 against Adam Penwell. Gareth Hibbert 4-2 against Carl Boys. Jamie Burnett 8-3 against Jason Tuvey. Sean Chipperfield 9-1 against Sam Bircher. Oli Bell 5-4 against Dave Fernandez. Tom Cousins 4-2 against Liam Dunster. Jimmy Coxton 4-1 against Govey Gill. And Arthur Dad 8-1 against Josh Kane. In fact, that one's just his second ticked over to 9-1. That's a disaster for Jordan. Chris is going to be looking to get into the 2 problem balls now. What a lovely touch. Just delightful. No need to go crashing into them, just a controlled pace. Just to split the 2 balls up. couple of people asking about the cloth. It's a Strachan Superfine cloth, which was developed last year, introduced during event 4, I think it was, of last year's series. And it comes in either this grey or the traditional green. Chris, just looking at this plant, it's very awkward. Pretty sure that the yellow doesn't pop directly, so he's going to have to play the plant, but it's where the yellow goes afterwards is what he's trying to work out. It's all about the pace. Oh my goodness, what an absolute delight. That little flick on the red. I mean, who even thinks of that? Most people are just looking to play the plant. He knew that he couldn't hold that cue ball, so he's played a little flick on the red to make the plant, so he can hold the cue ball down. Let's have another look at that. That was just brilliant. Look at that, just that tiny little flick. I mean, most people are just bothered about making the plant. How do I make that plant and hold the second yellow there? And the problem was that there was too much angle. The yellow was going to go down towards the right-hand side rail, and that was always going to be difficult. So that little flick off the red, just a divine touch. And there you see scores around the room. I mentioned a minute ago that Tom Cousins was 4-2, but actually Q scores updated now, and it's 6-2. Sean Chipperfield's on the hill against Sam Bircher. Arthur Dad's on the hill against Josh Kane. Greg's levelled things up against Phil Harrison. Liam White's gone one ahead of Neil Rayburn, 4-3. Shane Thompson's won another one against Adam Penwell. And is now 7-2. Gaz Hibbert there, 5-2 up on Carl Boys.
Frame, Chris Melling to break, leading 8 frames to 4. Time Melling.
Well, another huge break. And we've just crossed, on the two platforms, on Facebook and YouTube, we've just crossed 1,000 viewers. So welcome to you all. If you haven't done so before, please do like and share the stream. Sharing it onto your timeline is extremely useful, helpful to us, because it gets it out, promulgates it out across social media, and people need to watch these matches because these are fantastic spectacles. And also, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't done so, please click the notification button to switch on notifications, and if you click the little notification bell, it means you'll get an email when we go live. Each one of the videos, each one of the games has its own separate video, so when we go live, you'll just get a nudge on whatever you're doing. You'll be able to go and watch the pool. You won't miss any of the action. These touches are divine. I mean, that could have so easily gone wrong. I wonder if he can just hold for that red. I say, the touch is divine, but actually that red may just have gone too far. Yeah, you can see that rueful look on his face. Yeah, just had to take his medicine there. Had no option. and well, he's played to land on top of the yellow, but actually I think he left. Does it go through that gap to bottom right? And Jordan tapping the table to say, well, good shot. So it clearly doesn't go. Chris loving life at the moment. That's a clever shot. If he's covered the potting angle to the red to the top right, that really is a very, very clever shot. Has he though? Can Chris just get through? I think he has. I think he's covered the angle. I mean, that's a really good shot. I think he's just going to have to play a containing shot. Oh, what am I saying? Of course, he's not going to play a containing shot. This is Chris Melling. So, a must-make chance for Jordan Shepherd. Lovely action on that cue ball as well, by the way, just to top it through with side, just to come down for this this other tricky yellow. I think that shot looked a lot simpler than it actually was. That's just not. He had space up inside that ball, but all he's done is just double kiss it. That is not what the doctor ordered. And as I say, that really was a must-win frame for Jordan. Doesn't want to contact the yellow. Oh, he has clipped the yellow on the way past, and it's just left this in a bit of no man's land. The red still does cut, but now he's losing the cue ball all over the place. The cue ball is clattering into the yellows. He can't hold it. I just wonder whether he can just try and screw off the yellow that's just above the red and try and control it that way, but he's really going to have to put some pace into this, and he's very, very much reliant on a bit of luck. Can he control it off the yellow? Beautiful. Stunning. Again, another tricky little shot. You've got to hit this with enough pace to get the cue ball down table. Oh, wow. Topped it through, used the arc of the cue ball to go side cushion and below the black. That really is just something else. I could sit and watch this all day. Fantastic. Jamie Burnett 11-3. So he's through against Jason Tuvey. Oh, there's not enough superlatives to describe this this performance. It really is lovely. Just a pleasure to watch. To have the confidence to play that red along the top rail using spades of right hand side and top to arc that cue ball around the black. It just is lovely to watch. That's another dry break from Jordan, and you can hear the bell tolling. He's been let down by his break, you have to say, but also there's not a lot he's been able to do to hold on to Chris. $7-4 the bookmaker priced Chris before the off. Oh, it was one of the prices I saw today. Oh wow. Now then, there's just me bigging up Chris. But you do wonder if it's just a little too little too late. Because even if Jordan makes his clearance at 9-5, Chris's break, he's still a massive favourite. What price would you give Jordan to win from here? Definitely has the talent to do it. Would have preferred it if that red dropped, and you can see again that wry smile on his face, because he knows if that dropped, it makes this much easier. He's got hampered queuing, and it was absolutely fine. It wasn't a problem, but you know, you could just see from that wry smile that he just thinks to himself, things are not going my way today. Still a nice clearance, doing what he needs to do. And at 9 frames to 5, as long as he can keep Chris off the hill, I mean, but he needs mistakes. Appreciate people sharing the stream. Thank you very much. Notice that a few people have done it, so greatly appreciated. It's just a simple thing. It's a share button at the bottom of the screen, but even so, it really does help us. I can tell you that the loser of this match will play Dom Cooney or Luke Gilbert. And the winner of this match will go into winner's qualification and will play Carl Boys or Gareth Hibbett. So probably Gareth Hibbett. So at the moment it looks like it's going to be Gareth Hibbett against Chris Melling, unless Carl Boys or Jordan Shepherd can mount a very impressive comeback. Tom Cousins is now 8-2 against Liam Dunster. It's not often that you're going to ever see Liam Dunster trading by 6 frames to anybody. And of course, they're going to meet each other, aren't they, in the King of the Hill in November, in a race to 25. So will one of these players take a psychological edge from this game? If Tom hands down a beating by a margin, will it give him an edge in that big game he's got coming up? And this was always going to be... Wow, what's he done with the cue ball there? I mean, it's absolutely fine, but He's just tried to nudge the black up table, of course, and just slid by it, but he was absolutely fine, and he will try and move it again here. Could go wrong still. You don't expect it to. It's just going to be a delicate little nudge, and playing it that way, getting it into cushion first. There was very little that could go wrong with that. He was always going to have a shot. You can just screw the cue ball to side rail to hold it. Wow, what a miss. What a miss. Jordan Shepherd fairly jumped out of his seat. Oh, no. That's, well, there's an opportunity he had to take. And you felt he rushed that. You just felt he rushed that slightly. Hand queuing here, though. Look where his hand is. It's one of those that if you put your hand on the table, you're a little bit close, and if you don't, you're a little bit far away. This makes this shot a lot harder. Just nails it like that. Easy. Puts him on the hill. That was an opportunity that had to be taken by Jordan Shepherd. And wow, the contrast there. Could have been 9-6 with his break. At 9-7, he was still in the game. At 10-5, there's no way back. What a contrast, that one single shot. The pressure would have been firmly on Chris Melling's shoulders. Jordan could have been back within 2 frames. As I say, those little errors, they just make all the difference. Craig Waddingham 9-5 ahead. Hibbert 7-2. Greg Batten 4 each against Phil Harrison, but Phil's at the table on a very simple clearance, so it's going to be 5-4 to Phil any moment now. He's had enough. He's had enough. He's shaking hands. He doesn't want to do it anymore. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the concession, but ultimately, Chris isn't missing with ball in hand, and that's just enough for Sheppy. He's a bit fed up with it, and you can kind of understand why. And Chris will take the win quite happily. Jordan will go across into the losers section. He just needs to go away now and refocus and realign and get himself back into it. We're going to head across into the interview room. We're going to have a quick chat with Chris Melling off the back of that performance, and we will see you all again for the action fairly shortly. I'm not sure who's up next on table 16. I'll have a quick look for you. Adam Davis against Callum Singleton will be the next arena match, but for now, we're just going to head across and have a quick chat with Chris.
So I'm joined by Chris off the back of that win. Chris, I mean, it's always going to be a tough draw against Jordan Shepherd. You're very similar players, aren't you?
Yeah, obviously Jordan's an unbelievable player, great talent, won many tournaments, and I'm sure he's going to win many in the future. But it's a flick of a coin when it comes to me and Jordan and certain other players. It's all on the day, and obviously Jordan had quite a few breaks where he got kicked in off, and you saw the frustration at the end there where he gave in.
Yeah.
Which we've all done it, so it's frustrating when it happens.
Yeah, I saw you on the main arena table in the last, I think it was the last event. Maybe struggling a bit, certainly not struggling there. That was an amazing performance.
Yeah, played well, a couple of mistakes. Obviously I'm trying to get perfection when I play out there. Don't want to make any silly mistakes. I missed 2 balls into the right top corner towards the end of the game, but I think the game had got away from Jordan a little bit by then. It's just very difficult because the cloth is so responsive, and with my cue action I have a very long cue action, so I get so much reaction off the ball that I sometimes de-accelerate, and a couple of times I did de-accelerate because I'm frightened of screwing the ball too much.
Yeah. I think I picked up on one moment where you just ran out of position and it seemed that you decelerated on it, but I mean overall that from a spectator's point of view, I don't think it gets much better than that. That was just a delight to watch.
Yeah, great performance from both of us, really. We didn't miss much between us. It was just a couple of little shots where Jordan missed a ball into the corner off my ball towards the end. That gave me a chance, and then he was unfortunate when he potted another ball in the corner in the previous rack and brought his bad ball out, landed in no man's land, and then missed the long yellow. So it swings and roundabouts. We could play tomorrow, and he could do that to me.
Yeah, he's that kind of player, isn't he? I mean, I guess it would be a tiny bit contentious, but I mean, he's obviously going off on the last one. You're rarely going to miss those with ball in hand, but are you surprised to see him concede there?
Well, I'm never going to miss if you don't let me play him.
Exactly.
You know, there's always a chance you're going to miss, and don't get me wrong, I've conceded when I've been losing and things aren't going right, and it gets in your head and you're annoyed and you want to let your anger out.
Yeah.
But unless you're letting them players play them shots, they're never going to miss. I mean, you could get a kick. Yeah. Anything can happen.
Of course.
You know, and out there, that table is so much different to the rest of the tables because it's got the lighting and obviously the cameras there. A lot of people watching. It's nice and cool in the arena.
Yeah.
But the table's playing so quick.
Yeah.
And it's playing really good. But when you're playing kind of, the only way I can describe it is when you're playing like a follow through shot, a top spin shot. It's as if you're getting a kick all the time because it's that responsive when you're playing with screwback. Yeah. So you've got to kind of think about your shots a little bit. There were a couple of times where I played stun shots and I've screwed back. Yeah. I mean, when I've missed a black to knock it off the cushion with the first time, I'm like, how can you miss that? It's impossible. But I've got that much reaction on the ball and I didn't mean to do it. And, it does get frustrating, but you've got to forget it because there's nothing you can do once it happens. Yeah.
I mean, of course, you're off the plane again from China. That seems to be a regular path over there at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been 7 times this year. It's, my schedule's just, it's far more busy than any other player alive, I think.
Yeah.
I've literally just got back from China, go to Catalonia next week for a week, arrive back on the 5th, on the 6th I go to China, get back on the 13th, on the 14th I go to America, unless Thomas Cook go bust, because I've already booked the flight. And then get back on the 4th of November, and then we're at it again, playing obviously the Supreme Pool Series. Go to Malta for a darts tournament, and then I've got the Mosconi Cup. I'll probably end up watching that. Yeah. And then we've got the World 9-Ball Championships, and then I've got another event later on. So it's just non-stop at the minute. But
I don't know how you keep up with it because
I don't. But I mean, I've started a little regime where I've tried to get a little bit healthier 2 months ago. But it's very difficult when you're you're in hotels all the time. Yeah. In China, you think you're eating chicken and beef, but you don't really know. But the food's I'm not saying the food's bad. The food's lovely, but you've got to be very strict. Obviously, I'm not in the best of health, but if I can make myself better by getting myself healthier, and if I can improve my game by 10%, then that's 10%. I'm going to be more dangerous.
Absolutely, and if you keep performing like that, I mean, you're just going to continue going deep in events, aren't you? I mean,
yeah, you need the luck on the break. I mean, there's probably 20, 30 players out there that can beat you, But I know if I get my break going, then there's somebody's going to have to play really well to beat me if I get the break going.
Yeah, Chris, absolute pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck with the rest of
Cheers,
your
Nick. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, mate. Okay, we'll be back with the action very shortly on the main arena table.